I've just woken up. The last game of the night. I don't know what day it is. I don't know what time it is, but game 3, after a game of comebacks and throws and comebacks again, Evil Geniuses, man oh man, they had that one in the bag, but LGD took it out. Took it for their own. So we're down to this, the last game of the night, and the last game for one of these teams in the MLG World Finals 2015, because whoever loses this is down to a best of one. It is down to a best of one. Whoever loses this is out of the finals. Gant, it's a hero we haven't seen all night. It's a Doom. Hello? I think it's gone seriously wrong here. A co-caster should be able to hear me. Game should be able to hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me, guys. And hello? Oh my god! Stuff's gone wrong.
Lena.
Scant is dead. Okay, so people can hear me, but I can't hear. They can't hear you either. Are you speaking? I don't hear you. Can people hear you?
10 seconds remaining.
Okay, I think. Oh my goodness. Okay, wait, we're gonna have to do.
10 seconds remaining.
Hope that this works. Back into the game. Draft is progressing, and hopefully he comes through. Break Queen of Pain. There we go. Hello. It was Skype just being a
okay.
Absolute.
I mean, I guess after like a how long was that call?
10 hours and 45 minutes Skype call that we were in together. That's how long we've been going, man. We had empirical proof. It's gonna be close to 11 hours. It's gonna be close. Gonna be 12 hours actually. Gonna be close.
Actually, pretty impressive by Skype to like last that long without giving issues. To be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to say about the draft. I don't know how long you've been talking, but as soon as I saw that Doom pick, it's like I wish I could chat wheel that just happened, because it's like, to me, Doom in this patch is almost like Leshrac was in the last patch, and it took a while at the start of the patch to reach that level. It kind of like filtered through the pub play, rank play, then got to professional play to the point that it's been picked or banned in every match, in every single game of this tournament so far. Also the most banned hero. The ban rates of it's been banned 10 times in 13 drafts. So for it to actually get through is already a big deal. Just that the team that led through has a plan to deal with it. I fully expect that EG have a plan to deal with Doombringer. Especially because I feel like it's not just that Doom is trending right now and it's really strong right now. This is also a hero that Chinese teams in particular have a long history of being comfortable with. And even when it hasn't been that trendy or in the meta, Chinese teams have always been comfortable picking Doombringer. So LGD will definitely be comfortable running a lineup that works around Doom.
Now, EG Radiant Side Shadow Fiend. There we go. I've got it. And it's that I kept wondering when RTZ moved back, whether they do the sort of whole role swap thing that he did in secret with S4, and you know they sort of alternate between heroes and things like that. Because SF, sure enough, it's a Sumail hero. You know, we all know Sumail's Yule Scepter run that Shadow Fiend and absolutely demolishing people through DAC. I think that TZ has kind of nestled himself into this one role spot, and it's kind of comfortable for him, especially here at Evil Geniuses. And now they go with the Wraith King. Now, this is a hero that I've often seen picked up against Doom just because you've got that multi-cycle factor, you know? You go in, you don't care if you get doomed, Laguna Bladed, whatever, you've got a second life. You can tank things up, you're a damage sink. And you know that you're just going to walk back up and throw stuns out just again in a couple of seconds' time.
Wraith King is a pretty old school EG hero. They've been picking it for over a year now. They picked a lot of support Wraith King at TI4 actually. So I'm not sure. I feel like I saw them picking a support Wraith King earlier today. It's been really difficult for us to catch the matches that we weren't casting, obviously, but I think that they might have been running a support Wraith King in one of those games already. Obviously a core Wraith King can be very good as well, especially against a Doombringer. There's very few heroes you can say that about, actually. Heroes that are like supposedly good against Doom, because Doom just shuts you down no matter who you are. But the lineup EG's building so far looks actually like one of the more solid lineups against Doom. Because they've got heroes that could build in such a way if SF tanks up, Wraith King tanks up, Tusk. Sure, Doom takes you out of the fight, but you're probably not going to die to just the Doom. So you kind of walk out of the fight and come back into it. Which is a lot better than the heroes that don't just get taken out of the fight, but also end up dying to just a Doom and maybe one other spell.
They've got some good auras behind them as well, and I was just about to bring this up, whether they go for minus armor again. You know, they've got Presence of the Dark Lord, they've got that Vampiric aura from Wraith King. I was wondering more along the lines of, you know, a Vengeful Spirit, something along those lines, because Venge picked up a couple of times in the recent past. It's in VP's go-to usual carry hero for Illidan every now and then, but even as a support, I'm pretty sure Key or Liquid is up twice or 2 or 3 times in that support role for the minus armor as well. But Slaughter actually taken, and honestly, this could be offlane Slaughter for Universe, could be safe lane Slaughter, Wraith King could be support, core, Tusk offlane support. You know, there are so many options here, just mind-boggling for Evil Geniuses. Whereas LGD, it seems a little more straightforward. Doom, Thyla. Dying, probably offlane, leaner towards the mid for maybe Rubik's support for either DDC or MMY. I could probably see Undying for MMY in a support role as well. Lena could swap through as well. There are some options, but it's more linear options. You know, they've got like one kind of swap up between them. Whereas Evil Genius is like, you've got no idea where any of these heroes bar Shadow Fiend is going.
Undying's actually so good, yeah. It's such a good pick. I mean, Undying's usually just a early game pressure the enemy safe lane hero, but I feel like with the lineup EG are going for, especially because they're trying to tank their way through, Undying's just going to get so much value out of decay stacks in those fights. All these strength heroes, and even the heroes that, I mean, SF's not a strength hero, but it's going to be trying to do a tank build. Other 3 are strength heroes, and Undying really, yeah, I think it's a solid pick here. I mean, obviously the disadvantage is that usually when you pick an Undying, your draft is kind of forces you to pressure the other team. The onus is on you to get something done. I think that's maybe mitigated a bit here because the Undying gets so much value from the decay in the mid game. To some extent, especially if we do see Sylar playing the Doom, I still do feel like the draft setting itself up in a way that EG have a stronger late game, and LGD will have the pressure on them to get things done.
This is where I was going to go with it and ask you. With the Tusk, Wraith King, Slaughter, you know, 3 melee heroes so far, feels aggressive already. It feels like they just want to roll in. And now that Undying is picked with the Tombstone, with the Decay, it does halt that aggressive play, or maybe, you know, stalls it up a little bit, and Evil Geniuses might have to think twice about going in. But they're definitely lacking in sustain. Definitely lacking in some kind of heal power out here from Evil Genius. Witch Doctor, that'll buff you up a little bit. It's got the Cask, which is great at catching people out. Maledict is pretty good against Doom, you know, counteracting the Scorched Earth. But, you know, you were talking about counters to Doom, and very few heroes are good against Doom. When we first started seeing this hero, Doom, in Dota 2, 2.5 years ago, was it? It was a long, long while back when he was, you know, a popular pick in Dota 2. Witch Doctor was the go-to hero, just because of Voodoo Restoration. Someone gets doomed, you stand Witch Doctor next to them, Voodoo Restoration, they're all hunky-dory, they're fine. They're not taking any damage. Or, if Witch Doctor gets Voodoo Restoration off and then gets doomed, it basically does nothing. I think Witch Doctor's a really solid pick.
Yeah, and it's interesting that LGD actually chose to ban the Dazzle, because I feel like, sure, Dazzle's got Grave, that's a totally different question, but in terms of healing to counter Doom, in terms of protecting people against Doom, Witch Doctor actually has a bigger effect. I Dazzle, keeping a Doom person alive. Sylar's Razor, so it's RTK Doom, which...
Look at the other heroes being picked. Evil Geniuses heroes being picked.
So Sumail's picked Slaughter, TZ is Shadow Fiend, so... are you asking for bragging rights? Is that what's going on here?
No. I said it wouldn't happen. Because I pretty much threw that out the window and said it's not going to happen, so I can't claim bragging rights for this at all. But,
okay,
where are they laning?
But you brought it up to start with. It's a support Wraith King for Fear, so it's just gonna be offlane Tusk, and they'll do a defensive tri-lane, I think, and
Okay.
Remaining.
Shadow Fiend mid. So they've. I mean, you brought up the suggestion, then you dismissed it. But I think your original suggestion is correct. That there's that space for Arteezy and Sumail to switch around where necessary, and it looks like this is the case where they're going to do it. I would actually guess it's more likely because of
Prepare.
Sumail being more comfortable in Slaughter than Arteezy, and them making a call about who plays Shadow Fiend.
Good luck, have fun. None of the cheeky stuff that Lil was pulling off earlier today, just literally saying, have fun. You know, have fun, LGD. I think that really got under their skin, honestly.
Yeah, well, you know what's
What?
that's
Good luck, have jolly fun, exclamation marks. Yeah,
that's just a classic Arteezy interpretation. Yeah, Arteezyism, that's
Yeah.
the word.
definitely. Following on
But yeah.
from the roots of IX mic language.
These are lineups. Another thing that will get under some people's skin. I mean, we spoke about before. People don't like the use of the so-called abuse of the word, but LGD have a deathball lineup. That's I'm gonna call it. I think that's what it is. They intend to do well in lanes. They intend to group up, and then they intend to objectives. And EG have a lineup which is not nearly as centered around pushing. Can assemble in fights, definitely. Very, very fighty. And also can take it late if it needs to. So I think the dynamic of the game is going to be the same as all 3 games of the series, the first 2 games as well, where LGD are the ones being the aggressors, trying to put pressure, and EG are reacting to that. But I think it'll be probably a lot more like the second game than the first game. Because the first game was that Arteezy anti-mage, and obviously that defined the dynamic. This will be like the second game where, sure, LG are kind of the aggressors, but EG's response will probably be to fight them a lot from quite early on into the game.
Top thing is up massively. Our Evil Genius's Fear is up at top, support Wraith King, fair enough, Wraithfire Blast level 1. Hale is up here with him, the Slaughter. Going up against ROTK Doom. DDC on their Rubik to the lane though, in comes PPD, static link from Sylar. Boots, well, neither of them do. He'll just run back, but he's given 3 damage over to Sylar, who now gets a couple of last hits in. TZ Shadow Fiend towards the middle lane, and down at bottom, actually hang on a second, back up to Sylar, damage taken, but pretty lethal. Down to bot, Universe, the Tusk, up against Maybe on the Lina, who's offlaning here, and MMY playing the Undying, and this is honestly just so back and forth from both teams. You know, swapping players, swapping heroes, swapping lanes, everything is being used, like literally everything at their disposal. Being used here to adapt to playstyle, the pick, and the actual laning phase here of their opponents. Done out, ROTK, with PPD here, Cask is ready, and they know that there's only a couple of targets to bounce to. DDC will manage to get himself out of range, but that's it. Grim's already dead.
Doombringer, by the way, is extremely difficult to kill when he has some levels in Scorched Earth, but if he doesn't, like yeah, he took level 1 Devour, 0 starting armor, Doombringer is actually very, very squishy early on.
Definitely. They're going to move the Undying up here to help. So it's a defensive trial in with a Doom. And I don't know if you remember, but very early on tonight, we were talking about FNG and how he likes his, old school Power Rangers picks with Vengeful Spirit 1 roll. And I was saying how at one time he was picking aggressive tri-lane Dooms. So I was waiting for some kind of tri-lane Doom to pop up. And I'm seeing it, but from the least likely source I ever could. LGD with a defensive tri-lane Doom.
Yeah, and it's just because of all the shenanigans with switching around lanes. It actually leaves Maybe as an off-lane in a 1v1 Tuscan. He's actually being gone on. But I think Universe will leave this. Doesn't have the mana. He had the Mango. In fact, when he gets his cooldown, he might go on Maybe again with his Mango.
Try the old snowball shards forward again. This is a good start for EG so far, getting farm on your Shadow Fiend, not getting shut down massively by this Razor. He's got a DD rune bottle. And to be fair, this Razor, pounding here, with the right clicks out from this Arteezy SF. Damage behind him. Radiant side as well, so he can clear out Mud Golems. Oh, up at top, what have we got? Sumail in a little bit of trouble. Fade Bolt not going to be enough. Oh, what? The Soul Rift will be, though. Ah, bloody damage.
Something that I've heard a lot of people saying, actually, that everyone talks a lot about Decay and Tombstone, but the true skill of Undying is Soul Rip. That's the unsung hero in his skill set. Because it does work when you don't expect it to. It healing and killing.
Yeah, the first time we really saw it utilized was march this D2CL LAN in JD.
Oh, maybe he's in trouble.
Bottom lane, yep, you're right. He gets the Light Striker off the cask, bouncing back. Oh, I think he's okay, you know, salves up and he's gonna try and get behind the tier 1. But yeah, the first time we really saw Soul Rip utilized very early on was when Ice was playing Undying against a Puck. He was playing against Empire, but I can't quite remember. But anyway, he went Decay and then Soul Rip, and the Soul Rip was just so unexpected. This was back when it had a lower mana cost. But yeah, I agree with you. We're seeing lots and lots of Undyings now. Not good for this build. I've not seen the 1-2-0 build. I've seen people go the 1-2 and then max Tombstone and go back for it. But MMY, oh god, he loves Soul Rip, huh?
This is the build that Ice went in that game you're referring to, and he was against the pack, and I remember he actually solo killed First Blood. The pack just didn't expect it.
See?
But
Sprint, it's a powerful spell. He's got telekinesis, throws him back into Arteezy.
Dire's middle.
I'm just wondering, like, what's the gap in this game? Because I have this sense of inevitability that at some point in the game it's just gonna explode into constant fighting, like the previous game. When does that start happening? At what stage? How long does it take for the lanes to break out into like sheer madness? Because I do feel like that's going to happen. And it'll probably start when LGD start grouping up to push. I don't think there's that much pressure on EG to force the aggression themselves.
Yes, yeah, I would have said Undying once it hits like level 3 of, oh god, the shards! They've actually got DDC here. Fierce started that all off with the Wravefire Blast and it looked harmless. Maybe. He turns around to try and fight and he kind of baits his Rubik back into death. I would have said Undying once he gets up to like level 4, level 5, a couple of points in Tombstone, and that's when Chaos starts to really reign free. But I'm not sure. Maybe it's EG that's on the aggressive here. Triple raise? Yep, that's what you need. Arteezy secures the kill. And Sumail is roaming and ganking on the Slaughter from the offlane.
Yeah, so, I mean, like I said, I expect this game to go similarly to the previous game. I wasn't actually referring to the kind of clowny aspect of everyone going around the map and just fighting that early on, but this is, to be honest, there's logic here, because this is actually a lane switch, and Sumail was just like, I'm going to swap lanes and on my way to the bot lane, why not make a kill? And I think that's pretty respectable.
That's bottom lane, Slaughter. He's ready down here. Universe, yeah, you're right. Swaps back up top. TP's there. And he's going to be in a 1v1 versus MMY for now, as ROTK has relegated himself to jungle. Back in there, stacking farming camps. Maybe back.
Yeah.
Like they've gone to standard lanes now. You know, the safe lane Slaughter, the mid Lina, ROTK less standard in the jungle, but down to the bottom lane in the off lane with Rubik in a little while anyway.
I worry for LGD. It's not just that the pressure's on them to make the first move early on in the game, it's that EG's a team that's proven historically that they absolutely are comfortable, you know, in an elimination situation like this, you know, losers out. They're comfortable with taking it late if they need to. They're very, very comfortable taking it late. In fact, historically they've preferred it. And their lineup just seems much more favorable if the game does go late. So it puts LGD in like this awkward position. Especially if, well, EG actually going into the enemy jungle looking for some stacks, they're probably going to find ROTK instead of the stack. They can actually kill him. Find him.
They got the loop. They've just pinged out on Maybe, and with a stun from Fear, it's got a decent range on it. Oh, Arteezy hasted, double raise, triple raise. What's it going to take here? A couple of hits because MMY heals up, Tombstone's out, and Arteezy's dead. They finished off the Shadow Fiend, and that was ballsy. Like gold and Tombstone dropped, and RTK he's hunting for blood as well. He sees PPD, he's got him in his sights. Did have the damage, the Dragon Slave will finish him off. Dive turned wrong.
Extremely dangerous. I want to say it was the safe play to go into the enemy jungle, look for stacks, and possibly kill the Doom. I guess they didn't know the Doom's there, but the play they go for is much more dangerous, because I don't think it was ever conceivable with the way that they approached with the Shadow Fiend and Wraith King so far ahead of the Witch Doctor. I don't think it was ever conceivable they'd kill Lina before someone reacts. So what are they counting on? That LGD will react slowly? I think that's just, you know, disrespectful towards LGD ultimately.
Doctor's still running around at level 3. The male, once he gets his blink dagger, it can look to make those dives a little bit easier. Just jump forward, find the initial hit.
Smoke's gonna be broken, bot jungle. Yeah. Rubik and Lina smoked in, and they didn't notice that it was Fear standing right there, broke their smoke, but Fear hasn't seen them either, so they go for Sumail.
Might just die here. Telekinesis, well timed, dead. Easy, simple, clean and crisp. That pickoff. Perfection.
That's
LGD.
That's a rare situation where you go for a smoke gank, your smoke gets broken along the way, you notice the person you're trying to gank like didn't react, so you figure in that second they don't actually know our smoke broke, and you just keep going.
Good stuff. Now, Easy bought Gloves of Haste, and it's got me wondering. I've seen from Shadow Fiend, no, he's going for Tread. Okay. Midas was a possibility, but he's going to go for it. Seen it from a couple of Shadow Fiends recently, especially in NA. Put the Midas into, S&Y Helm of the Dominator to try and build things up for over a longer period. Like you said, they've got very good late game with the Midas armor and the survivability that they've got across the board. He just wants the treads, go for the pretty stock standard build so far. But what up next? Still want to see a mech on the Shadow Fiend.
I think so. I think because same reason I wouldn't want to see a Midas. There's really no need for it. There's no, as I've been saying all along, there isn't pressure on EG in this game. If they get to the late game and they're looking alright, they're probably already in a great situation. So I think they should focus right now on kitting up just to do alright in the mid game. And if they don't get walked over, then LG is going to be in big trouble.
TK. He's actually not far away from his mech, His buckler recipe, headdress. Yeah, buckler done. So he's actually, 550 gold away from a fully completed mech while up on the hill. AB and DDC. Lena has been running around looking for kills and not really farming too much. Her item progression hasn't really flourished. She's sitting at, 4th? Shadowfiend's leading, but you do have 3 heroes in the top 4 there from LGD. While Universe's Tusk is doing decently against this Razor up at top, but it's definitely not the matchup you're really looking for. Razor is farming away like a madman. Universe with Fear, they're here, but they're not really posing a massive threat. Sala realizes there's a couple more heroes missing. The Shadow Fiend and the Slaughter are making a little mosey up to top lane, so Sala doesn't want a piece of this.
I think Fear might have given away the gank actually, because he stood in range of the creeps, and if Sila checked, he would have seen the vampiric aura. I'm not too sure if that was even a gank or if they were just let's group up and we're gonna force the tower, but if it was a gank, then Fear did stand a bit too close to the creeps.
All of a sudden, RTK has his mech. 11 minutes mech on a Doom that started 1 roll, then went into the jungle, and he feels like a 4-roll Doom, He's not had laning presence, he's not really been an off-laner or a 1-roller or a mid-laner, he's just been farming the jungle a ton. Now he's got a mech.
Yeah, and it's definitely going to play into that kind of death ball-y approach that they're going to have to this game. And if they can get a few tier 1s, that's going to help a lot, but in the meantime, it looks like Sylar might be in danger in the top lane, yeah.
Forward. TP is coming in thick and fast, though Sylar might not actually die. When the Requiem raises, okay, Sylar's dead. We've let the trade-off here. Comes out a little bit too late. Laguna Blade over onto Universe. RTZ going to die first, and then over the side. Undying gets the double kill with a tombstone to zombies. Chasing people down.
Very peculiar to me, all this discussion of how EG, if they just do alright in the mid game, make it to the late game, they're in a good position. And they keep insisting on getting ahead of it, preempting it, almost in the sort of classic Cloud9 TI4 style. To stop the push by ganking into the push before it starts pushing. They're doing it in such divey ways at that mid tower and now at the tier 2 top. And I just feel like they have to have more respect for LGD. LGD are going to react. LGD are going to ult TP. That's definitely what they're going to do all day long if you're diving at their towers.
Yeah, it's not just one hero TPing into react, it's everybody. Everybody just piles on in. They know they need a strong, firm grasp on this game. Shadow Fiend from getting kills, from diving like that. Take a look at RTZ's item build, actually. I saw he picked up Ogre Club first, then as he died, he got the Blade of Alacrity. So he's going for S&Y, but he's going about it in such a roundabout way. He can't have Ogre Club and Alacrity both in his inventory at the same time. So he's missing out on a lot of value here. He could have a Yasha, fully done, or a Sand, depending. But just suboptimal from EG so far. Every move. Draft has been good. Early laning stage has been good, but every move forward they make, it's countered by LGD taking 2 steps back, and all of a sudden Fear is caught out. He's level 7, but he takes his ulti now. Slow them down on the retreat, but I'm not sure if they want to turn and fight this. LSA out, and Blade is ready, and they do actually have the damage to finish him off. Fade Bolt, I'll secure it. Trade-off is farming on the side lanes though, as Universe has nearly got his mech. They're actually looking at a pretty full utility built up Tusk here. Sumail? No, not Sumail. Arteezy on the Shadow Fiend. Yeah, he's got his Yasha done.
You know, at the start of the second game, I was asking, how do you think it'll affect LGD that they really should have won the first game and didn't? And I feel like we forgot to ask, but how do you think it'll affect EG this game that they really should have won the second game and didn't? Because to me, that's got to be some way to the explanation of these like over aggressive dives that we've seen out of them.
I think that LGD have been getting progressively more and more pissed off. You know, pissed off in the way that they just explode and absolutely demolish you. But EG, I'm not sure. Like, it's hard to read them. They've got such... like, their personalities are so hard to describe. They flourish in weird ways. Like, Arteezy and Sumail, they're very explosive, but not in the same way as I'm sort of explaining that LGD can just completely... Like, it's there's teamwork explosive from LGD, and it's singular explosive from EG, I think.
Yeah, I think that kind of makes sense. I wonder, I don't know. It's still very early days in this game, and I'm not willing to like say there's a defined dynamic. Things are looking kind of good for LGD. EG have screwed up once or twice diving too deep. But it just makes me think whether or not there's a little chip on EG's shoulder from the previous game, because they won the first game, they should have won the second game. And Sumail will remember that he was getting the better of Maybe for most of the early stages of that game as well. And then Maybe was actually just dominating him, controlling him for the rest of the game. And by the same token, it's just when you have these players who are just that insanely skilled and they know how skilled they are, sometimes I feel like they might be just like, oh, why can't we just own these guys? Let's just go own them. And the reality is you can't always do that, and it's where obviously the grounding voices come in. Of course, this is all like an invented narrative. I've like never met these players. I don't actually know. It could be that they're all very composed and I'm talking nonsense.
Doom has a Midas. RTK went back from 10.5 minute Mac Arcanes or whatever it was, 11 minutes. He now has a Midas up on him.
It's the classic why not Midas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like...
I've got 2,000 gold. I don't necessarily need a Blink Dagger. Why not?
And MMY as a Vanguard, it's like really difficult Undying to deal with at this stage. And if we do see a big team fight break out, he's gonna get a lot of Decay, Sorups off. He's gonna get a Tombstone off, and he's gonna just stand there and be generally annoying.
Yeah.
It's actually a very important hero to find a way to deal with, and I don't know if there is a way to deal with him at this stage.
Yeah, like Crimson Guard is a very good item against minus armor, you know, amplified damage, the Shadow Fiend presence, the Dark Lord. Arts is pretty good as well. I'm wondering though why MMY wouldn't go for something like the Aghanim set. Oh god, Universe is chain stunned, and with the Doom there, he can't do anything. Tier 2's gonna drop, and Yule Scepter are delivered here for Maybe. Combo available. Up at top, trade off, RTD taking tier 2 there. But this is much better for LGD. They've killed off a hero, taken tower. Roshan is available.
Yeah, it's good for LGD. It's also, I want to say, good for EG that they don't just like panic ult TP in and force the fight. That RTZ stays top and he split pushes, and they realize like this is what we need to be doing. There's no reason for EG to be like forcing the aggression, diving into fights. If they play that split approach, if they aim for the late game, it's still looking pretty decent. If they were to take a couple of fights in a row and lose them, suddenly the game's over. That's what happens when you go against the death ball.
It is, but sometimes EG are the ones that want to go on the aggressive. This MMY bait is real. Snowball's not going to pick anyone up, and the male cannot blink forward. MMY is dead here under the power of the amplified damage, and oh god, the bait is turned wrong. DDC's caught as well. Blink stun. They've got the amp onto him, and Sumail gets what's stolen here? Sigil. Actually up for DDC, maybe. He comes back into this, but the heal out. Sumail gets another one. RTK maybe on the full retreat out, but a snowball catches maybe the ice shot. Nope, don't trap him in. Good Yule Scepter back and blink, stun. Sumail catches them both. Maybe an RTK have been caught. The mech is there to heal them, but so's the punch. Arteezy only needs a couple of raises. Good dodge. Gets out of the way of the stun. Tyler, I'm not sure this is the fight you want to be taking. DDC is respawned, he's back in, but that just gives them more kills. Snowball through the middle of both of them, and EG, the hornet's nest has been stirred. They're pissed off, they're angry. Requiem winds up, but DP's pretty long here from MMY. Turns on the ultimate, flash golems out, and Fear being chased down. Arteezy whacks into Sun, the big Sun again from Sumail. Doom is up on Arteezy, Sumail's escaping, and what the fuck just happened? Everybody's freaking dead.
DDC didn't respawn, by the way. He bought back. That was a dieback. And just when I was saying, let's consider the psychology, let's think about EG, what's going on in their heads. LGD just show a massive sign of some kind of leak. That's the best way I can think to describe it. And you were saying they've been progressively more and more pissed off in this series, and that's what that feels like, because started off looking like they're baiting, but then they, just way more heroes than they could deal with came through. Razor wasn't there, Doom wasn't nearby, Dying dies really quickly, and it becomes this kind of protracted, weird sort of chase, and LGD are just like fed up with it. They're like, what the hell, we're strong. They shouldn't be able to do this to us. And just kind of fed up and stubborn about it, end up, I don't know, 6 deaths? Is that? Yeah, 6 deaths for 0.
How many multi-person blink stuns did Sumail get there? 4? 5?
3 or 4, yeah.
Crazy.
And he's also gone back for a Midas now, by the way. It's just the why not Midas coming up a lot in this series. I think that Fear might get a why not Midas soon as well. Maybe Universe.
Not a blink, no? I think
he can. It's totally up to him, because the pressure's not on his team. Like, we're definitely back in that position again, where there's really not a lot of pressure on EG. So it's if they want to try and force the game out, or if they're happy to sit and wait. If they were to pick up a bunch of Midases, it looks really bad for EG, but EG want to fight. They're gonna go in, yeah, I think. Sumail's just pinging it out. He looks really keen to go in, and PPD's had to restrain him a bit there.
Hold back, son. Hold back. That'll do. Wait a second. We don't want to be running into Tombstone and Laguna Blades and things like that. We've got Aegis. We've got Secure Farm in their jungle. We can choke hold them. Sure, they don't get anything. They're all grouped up. Get little kittens hiding behind the trees behind this tier 2 tower. Bot lane, there's farm to be had as well. Just TP down. But they're not going for it. They still want to go and fight now. Sure about this. They want the tier 2, but lane, it's pretty open for them.
Dire's middle tower.
Yeah, they just want the tower first. They're kind of hoping to better fights, I think.
Oh, well, bait they will get. Sumail jumps in. RGK, oh, he's healed, but he's not enough. Laguna Blade out. Deathspawn is here as well. As PPD lets it go. EG Fear. Yeah, but drops straight back down. Arteezy has lost his first life, and so has Fear, but Sumail, again, just keeps blinking and stunning and Silent doesn't have a single point of damage. Throw back in their face. Tombstone will get cleared up, and you know what? Sumail's gone back in. Sumail found 3 in a row again. Not multi-person crushes this time. Just found target after target after target, kill. With a blink
Sumail's been everywhere. I wonder, do you think that Sumail watched the previous series we cast, CDEC? So aggressive playing Slaughter, and we were like, hey, this is a hero that aggressive should play a lot, it really suits him, can just get everywhere, it can be all over the place, the sprints and the blink. Sumail's like, hey, that sounds like fun, I could do that.
He's got Flame Immortal, he's got Bludgeon, he's been bludgeoning people.
Yeah, he has a different looking face, I think.
It's all about the weapon. It's all about bludgeoning people.
But yeah, he's also a fish going around bludgeoning people. And what is this wagon doing? This is not a dominate. Is this a dominate? Oh, it is. Arteezy dominated this wagon, and it's helping Fear farm, I guess. Okay, that's interesting.
Oh, Catapult's gone now. Oh no, taking a little troll. Teasy.
Yeah.
Butterfly finish now, yep. Talisman of Evasion coming in.
And no signs of greed from EG actually, because it is the blink on the Wraith King, it's the 4-staff on the Slaughter. Task will pick something up for utility soon, yeah, it's a blink as well. And this is like, let's close out the game now. They're gonna push through this tier 1 and this tier 2. I think EG are hoping LGD comes to defend. even more than the towers, they just want to fight.
Dire's bottom tower.
Fear doesn't have his ulti up, and he's nowhere near, so might be one reason for EG to hold off. But it's not clear to me. I think if Sumail gets there, it's not clear to me they even need Fear's ulti to win a fight. At this point.
It's 20 minutes in. Arteezy has 8,000 more net worth than the nearest hero. Than the nearest enemy. This is insane.
Yeah, it's that's ridiculous. He's also got pretty much twice as many last hits.
I mean,
So
they've taken all but one out of tower, but my goodness.
well, one thing that also points out though, by the way, is so there's like a higher than 10k, I don't know, 11k lead or something for EG. If somehow LGD kill Arteezy, fight is dead even. You know, if he's taken out of that fight, all of a sudden, maybe not even dead even, I think LGD are ahead. If they find a way to burst down the Shadow Fiend at the start of the fight, EG probably needs to be running away at that stage.
But how? Because dooming him doesn't really do anything, you know?
Lena's got to finish Ags, that's how. That's about it.
I think Doom has to finish Axe as well. You've got to throw so much here at Arteezy that, you know, you're still handling Sumail's blinking, forcing. Sneaky little fish man, the slaughter. Sure enough, his damage output is nowhere near that of the Shadow Fiend. But it's the utility he gives the Shadow Fiend. The amp damage, the stuns, the crushes. The mobility, like, honestly, the mobility with this max sprint build, it's ridiculous.
You just bought an armlet. I mean, that's honestly, I sometimes feel like the sign of a team being far ahead is, even though Arteezy is so ridiculously far ahead of everyone else, it's even more the supports. Like, PPD has items. When does this happen? Like halfway to an Ags.
No, he's holding them for right? They don't belong to him.
I mean, Fear looks like he started this game as a core, looking pretty decent. I mean, not a great. It's not the best for a core 8 King to have these items this time, but it's certainly okay. And PPD has items, and Arteezy is like the richest person in the universe.
Bottom tower is under
Well, MMY has pretty close over onto that Crimson Guard. Sylar is going into the Aghanim Scepter, 500 gold away from that one. His Rax is beating those. Maybe 400 to his Ags. They just need a little more time. And I don't think EG are going to give it to them. You know that they need like 1.5 creep waves each, and they've got these items which could be game changing, could be fight winning. EG won't let them have it. Maybe now with RTK Doom 4 telekinesis. Oh, there we go. Arteezy's dead. Got the buyback. But this is where EG have to bail. Time to run. Time to get the hell out of here. The cast bounces back and forth, and it'll slow the advance. But I think LGD want more. They know they can find him.
They know where PPD went. If they knew where PPD went, they could have chased him down and killed him, definitely. He didn't even have a TP. But they didn't run that direction. They're gonna check Rush, maybe. Doesn't look like it. But yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about. I mean, Arteezy's not actually that tank. He's very farmed, but he started with a tank build of SNY, and then since then he hasn't actually built tanky items. PPD is actually now, the hunt has been resumed for PPD, and he's in smoke. That's not going to keep him alive here.
He's got no
he
TP.
baiting?
He can try and TP. The rest of his
Team's coming in.
Actually try and fight this cast. Bounces in, comes Sumail. Could you also have to do maybe? As the LSA and the DD on Sylar, maybe we'll be able to actually turn this back, force staff away into the mech count from Universe. Turns back onto Sylar with the minus armor up onto it. Snowball forward, but MMY joins in this little old battle. And I think they're going to get more than they bargained for. It's Universe, along with PPD, both drop their lives there.
And this will be the tier 1 as well, which, in EG's defense, the fact that tier 1's even alive at this stage is a really positive sign, considering the draft.
Radiant's top
My oh my, this is a bizarre series, really, and like, I can't help but feel like there's a whole lot of emotional investment here, especially in this game 3 where it's an elimination game, and
fallen.
back and forth, it's been really interesting. I still think EG are in a pretty solid position, but
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
LGD have sent a message. They can burst down Arteezy. And I think EG will know all too well that whenever Arteezy gets burst down, they're in a really bad state. So they're going to have to make better plans to avoid that happening. So Arteezy starts heading towards a BKB. It's not going to actually help that much against the Doom and the Laguna Blade. But I suppose it's to deal with like Rubik lifting him, setting up the initiation in the first place, stuff like that.
He is walking into one hell of a trap. Oh god, here they come! Straight on in! You're dead! Great setup by LGD.
And the gold graph is swinging back down, and the XP graph is swinging back down. I mean, it's so much of that lead is in Arteezy. It really is. And these 2 deaths are huge. Rosh is coming up soon. This might be a tier 2.
Radiant's top tower is
They
under
might just leave it. They might head towards the Rosh pit straight away. I was actually thinking they could be greedy and get the tier 2 and the Rosh. Especially since EG have made no intention to defend.
Now, why no Skadi on one Shadow Fiend? And
Radiant's top
no
tower
Lotus
is
Orb or
under attack.
Lincolns, EG either, to stop Doom Laguna, things like that. These are like, again, it's kind of like game 2, where they've got themselves ahead and they're going for these luxury items
Tower has fallen.
before thinking about the items they need. I feel that if they had like one Lotus Orb to put onto the Shadow Fiend, he doesn't get destroyed like this. You know, not in a situation up at top where he's alone. Obviously, that was a well-laid trap. But if they want to push high ground, they need more utility items and more buffs to place onto the Shadow Fiend. But they don't have it.
Honestly, the trajectory of this game has so far felt exactly like the first 2 games. The one team starts dominating, and then the other team turns things around and just gradually starts dominating until they win. The only difference here is that I think based on the matchups, the longer the game goes, I really do favor EG. Especially in a game where PPD is actually getting items where he's going to get that Ags on Witch Doctor.
With a lot of armor from Presence of the Dark Lord and amp damage, yeah.
So it's not as natural a transition in this game that because LGD are stabilizing now, like in the other 2 games, the team that was behind will end up winning, because the draft doesn't. It's EG's draft is actually more favored to play that role in this game.
So Mel spent the past couple of minutes just farming himself towards the AC, you know? With the mobility he got, they've definitely taken a step back here. They calm things down a touch. There's definitely been a switch in the net worth board. You know, we had a bunch of EG heroes up near the top, and they're bringing it back. Razor, who is a hero that often struggles to find farm. Sylar has done very well. He's 1, 4, and 7, but still, he's farming himself towards big old items. He's got Magnum Scepter, Plate Mail, and they need this tankiness. They need this bonus armor. But I'm wondering now. I guess maybe with the Plate Mail could go into the Shiva's Guard, and Sylar just goes for the Assault Cuirass. And they've got Crimson on MMY as well.
When Arteezy had 16k net worth, the next highest was 8. And now he's found a BKB since then, and Lena's now at 14.
Yeah.
So in that time period, Lena's gained like twice the amount of gold as him. I think most of the other heroes in the map have. A big part of that is just his own deaths. But now he's got the BKB, his team's gonna smoke up and they're gonna look for another fight. I gotta say, BKB is not necessarily the be-all and end-all of keeping Arteezy alive in a fight. Aegis is though. And this is actually a smoke into the rush pit. They're gonna kill it way too quickly for anyone to get you. And poor LGD, all of their hard work might come undone because of this Aegis.
Oh, they smoke now. as Roshan dies. Now RTK, he's got Ags Blink. That's just something to be watching out. But who do you aim for?
It's so hard to kill SF twice. It's like quite easy to kill him once, but to kill him twice, it's... I don't know, they commit too much on the first kill, he respawns and his team's like destroying you
and he BKBs on the second life as well. Oh, Sylar, he's jumped on it and oh god, in they go, Dogpile onto Sylar, there we have it, Crimson Guard pop, Deathward's down, this Razor looks like he's pretty screwed. He has buyback, he's going to be forced above it here, they want to get back into fight. Fear has a second life as well, MMY, oh the damage output is ridiculous. Arteezy has a second life with his Aegis and he comes back, but Sylar with his buyback, you've got to be worried. You're careful, because Fear still hasn't died. His armor has been good enough and they just battle through when they kill the Razor. The buyback from maybe is all desperation. EG, I think you're right. They got the Roshan, they got the Aegis onto Arteezy. And they might just have finished the game with it.
Yeah, really strange actually, because I feel like LGD get one more pick off on Arteezy and then get the rush themselves. They could threaten Raxes.
Damage, look at that. Minus armor galore. Maybe trapped in the shards. LSA catches 3 guns of damage, but maybe he's just being pummeled, and now he's dead again. With
Yeah,
Rubik
this
the
is
last
over.
man standing. GG is called. LGD are out, and EG, they progress themselves through.
Are under attack.
I mean, it's LGD were hanging on by a thread, and that thread was that they had a way to burst down Shadow Fiend, and as soon as that Aegis is there, it's just like their last thread's completely gone.
Oh, snip, snip. Go.
Very interesting series, this one. EG will survive another day, and maybe we'll start a run, which is the classic EG kind of lose your first match and then make your way back up. LGD, I think, are going to take them some time, but honestly, like I said, the first series we cast LGD, this is a team that by the time we get to the major, they're going to be really strong. I mean, you could tell that they're still figuring out what they want to do. It's a new roster, it's a new patch, but they'll get there.
Well, that's it for us tonight. We've had a long journey. Hopefully you guys had a good time as well. The game's been pretty good as well. But that's it for the Bravo stream. Everything tomorrow, and Sunday is over on the Alpha stream. So that's it from us. That's it from myself and Scant. So good night, guys. Have a good evening, morning, afternoon, something, day. It's Saturday now. It's definitely Saturday. Majority of places on the earth. So yeah, Scant, any final words? Good night, I'm guessing, is going to come out of your mouth.
Yeah, just good night. Thanks to everyone else watching and listening. It's been a lot of fun, even though we complain about being tired and whatever. It's the first time I've ever done a marathon cast, which involved like a 11-hour Skype call, and it's some interesting games. So yeah, thanks.
Well, see you guys next time, and that's it. We are out.